Hi, everyone. We're here to talk to you about both our services, where you can go to get that information, and who we help for small business owners. So Carla, Titus, and I, Jennie Schottmiller, are going to talk about the services we provide to help support and grow small businesses. And I'm gonna give you a little overview of me, and we're going to talk about who we each are, and then we'll go through some questions. So I'm Jennie Schottmiller. My business is Simple Profit. I help small business owners and people just starting out, maybe are lost or want some help to know if they're doing it right. And Carla, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us who you generally help, and then we'll kind of go through our questions.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Carla Titus. I'm the founder and CEO of Wealth and Worth Within. We're a fractional CFO firm that provides financial consulting and advisory services to, established businesses that are growing and scaling. And we come in to be your finance department essentially to support you and take that off your day to day. But still keep an eye on what's happening financially in your business and partner with you to make big financial decisions in the business.
Great. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about who usually comes to seek my services. And Carla and I had met, and we had talked a couple of times. And one of the great things about our businesses is I'm helping people when they just start out. They don't necessarily have a lot of money, but they need to learn some things. They need support, and so I
Mhm.
provide low cost support to a wide variety of small business owners. And Carla provides much more detailed operational support to businesses who have reached a certain level. So we're going to just talk about what that is, because if you're a small business owner, you think about like where you are in that cycle and what services you really need on the sort of accounting, tax, finance side inside your business. So one of the questions I get a lot of time from people who are seeking out my services is, where do I start? So you start a small business, you've never owned a business before many times, or if you did, it was just like, well, I had a little income from these things I sold, but that's all I've ever done. And so in terms of establishing your banking structure and understanding how the cash flows and how to read some financial statements, what you're going to need for taxes, how to estimate taxes, and kind of some basic business analysis, it can feel a little daunting and overwhelming because you probably started a business in order to serve clients, patients, or customers, or sell products, and not necessarily so you could do accounting. So it can feel
Yes.
daunting. You don't really want to do it. And one of the big things I say a lot is that there are things you need to learn as a business owner, because if you outsource right away without learning some of the basics, you will not be in a position to supervise the people you have outsourced to. So they may not always do a good job. And if you know how to look at your numbers and you know what should happen because you've done it, you are going to be in a really good position to then check the work is being done, spot check, see reports, read reports, have conversations about it. And so I help people with like where to start. Look at this, develop this, pick this, let's choose this. Some
Mhm.
of the services that I provide are kind of do it yourself. I have tutorials, I have a membership. You can log in, you can see videos, you can ask questions, I can point you in the right direction. Sometimes I add videos if people are, need something that's not quite there yet. And then one of the other questions I get a lot is, am I doing it right? So you start out, you learn a few things, you feel like, I think I got it. But sometimes you just need someone to check. So I also provide that kind of support where you can say, hey, I filled out your spreadsheet. I'm trying to decide how much to pay this person I want to hire. Can you check it for me? Can you like look it over? Or we schedule a coaching session and we kind of go through filling out the spreadsheet together. Because sometimes there's things that like, hey, I could kind of figure that out on my own with your tutorials and your spreadsheets, but I really need a little more hand holding. I need more support. I have a lot of concerns or issues around money or numbers. Some people have neurodivergence or learning disabilities for math. And so I also offer that kind of do it with you. So you can do it yourself, you can do it with me, and all of it's fairly affordable. And then the other thing that I often am helping people with is, how do I figure this out? So as a business owner, I need more revenue, or I need to hire, or I need to figure out how much I need to save, or I need to figure out how much I can pay myself, or whether I should be an LLC or S Corp. And so I have a lot of tools and resources and support for asking questions or doing it with you to help you figure out what the process is for answering that question. So you probably know what question you have. You probably know what
Mhm.
decision you need to make. But small business owners don't always know, what do they need to do to get the answer, to figure out, to maybe if they're figuring out something that's like an estimate, well, what's the range I should look at? What's common or typical? And so those are kind of the big things that I help. Where do I start? Am I doing it right? And what's the process look like to figure this out?
Yeah.
And a lot of times what I see is that people start out, they're very uncomfortable and unfamiliar. They develop some skills, maybe some spreadsheet skills, some estimating skills. They start to be familiar. And at some point, they outgrow me because they got it. And probably for a while, you might have it and like, okay, I figured this out. I hired some people, I pay my taxes, I get my stuff to my tax person at the end of the year. I've got my day to day operations going well. But there's a point at which it might be too much. Maybe you want to get out of it. Maybe you need to do other things and focus on other parts of your business. And you can afford to help to have someone run. So Carla, tell me a little bit about where you fit into that.
Yeah, and I'll just start by saying that that foundation is so critical to the work that we do. So, everything that you're helping them do, Jenny, to get to this point where they feel confident, they have been tracking some things, they know a little bit about their numbers and feel really good about it. And it's just to the point where, they are running an established business. They've built a scalable, portion of their business, and they're just ready to stop doing wearing all the hats and doing all the roles in their company, because they're tired and they're just they know enough, and they're like, okay, I learned it, now I'm ready to delegate it out and outsource it. But they also know what questions to ask. And so some of the questions that a lot of the people that we work with come to us for is they're trying to figure out, can I afford to hire? If so, how many? By when? And that can be a very complex question all put together, where you want to do some good analysis, understand your costs, understand where you're at from a cash flow perspective. And while you've given them all the tools to be able to do that, some business owners prefer to just like not have to deal with it. And they want those analysis and projections run for them. And that's where we come in to create those estimates, do the scenario planning on their behalf. And then we have a conversation and a partnership where we are talking about, what are those decisions? Do we need to shift the timeline? Do we need to bring in more people, less people? If so, when? What the cash flow can support? Because finances start to get a little bit more complex as you scale. And also your time becomes more limited as a business owner, because you're having to manage a larger team. You're having to do all the other things that only you can do for your business, including business development, maybe sales, or bringing in new clients to the door. So this is the time when you want to free up some of your bandwidth by giving it to someone who can do it professionally support you in this way, and also know some of the needs that the company will have coming ahead of where you're at, and starting to proactively do the planning on your behalf and bring that back to you from a leadership position, saying, hey, we need to start thinking about, would we want to buy a building? Would we want to like exit this business one day? Are you paying yourself enough? Are you, happy with that? And then also answer questions like, where is the money going? I think when finances start to get a little bit more complex, it's really easy to lose touch with, we are earning so much, but we don't see much of it. What happened? At what point did things break? Did we add too much cost? Are we not selling enough? Do we need more revenue? Do we need more marketing budget to generate more of a gap between what we earn and what we spend? And those are, the bigger, more complex problems, because there's a lot of variables now. You have staff, you have rent, you have other overhead costs, other costs of running the business. You added some software, you added all the things, and maybe we're just not operating as efficiently as we could be. And that's where a CFO can start to point out opportunity areas for improvement, help drive some efficiencies from a time perspective and management of the team that can help, really impact the bottom line and move the needle. They're also, like I mentioned, trying to make big financial decisions like, should I pay myself more? Should I take more cash out of the business? Or is this going to jeopardize the livelihood of the business? Should I add benefits for, my employees? And as the company grows, the expectations are always higher. So you'll start to, ask those questions. And if you haven't asked those questions, that's what a CFO comes in to do, to start pointing those things out. Hey, this size of business normally tends to provide benefits, or this type of business normally has this much cost and employees at this level. And those established businesses, they've gotten this far with like their gut and intuition, maybe a little bit of data, but we're really going down to, looking at the data to make better financial decisions and really doing the scenario plan and analysis required to give you the right insights into what's working and what's not and what needs to change. Like you mentioned, Jenny, it's not cheap to outsource to a CFO, obviously, because we are coming in to lead the financial direction of the company to the next level that you're looking to grow into, or even just optimize what you already have. So taking it off your hands is going to be an investment. Ideally, when you bring in a CFO, you're also seeing better financial results. If not, you probably shouldn't work with them or you should fire them and get a new one. But the goal is to not just absorb the cost of the CFO, but in the investment you're making, but also give you additional profits as part of the work that we're doing together and leading. If you're looking to bring in positions like an integrator, an HR consultant, while maintaining your own pay, working less hours, that's around the time where you'll need a CFO to kind of map that all out proactively and plan for it so that you can afford to do all those things and still, make sure that your company is profitable enough so they can continue to run and operate that for the long term.
Yeah, thank you. I think a lot of people who have a small business might not have heard of fractional CFO or know that you can outsource that. You don't have to you don't have to hire an in-house CFO, which is way more costly.
Yes.
Even with the additional cost of your services, it's less than hiring someone to full-time come into your business
Mhm.
and run that as a CFO. But when you're at that
Yeah.
point, like, you can't afford to hire someone, you can afford to hire you because you're at that point.
Yeah, and most businesses at that level do not need a full-time CFO with, the full-time salary plus revenue share plus bonus structure that a CFO would need in order to come into your company and do this role. You get that same level of leadership and experience and support, but at a fraction of the cost. That's where fractional CFO comes from. And it's, the equivalent to maybe having a part-time employee in your team, but at the leadership level, helping do this work to support you. And so, when you think about it, bringing in that leadership role without the six-figure, price point, it's really appealing because you get all that experience, knowledge, and expertise to save you from mistakes, de-risk the company, make sure that the plans are solid, and that we're thinking 2, 3 steps ahead before making those decisions that can cost you a lot of money if not the right decisions for the company. And also thinking with the end goal in mind. I think that's a big one. We always ask our business owners, what do you need your business to do for you? What would you like to get out of your business? If you're planning to sell in a couple of years, we need to go work backwards from that goal and start increasing the valuation of the business to make sure you get top dollar for that sale. So all those things we are thinking, 2, 3 years ahead, working with the owners to bring that back to present and start taking the actions and the steps necessary to make those our reality.
So let's make sure we tell everyone where they can find both of us, so that if they have questions and they think they might be needing some support for starting their business, or they might be ready for your level of service, where they can go.
Yeah, so they can check out our website, wealthworthwithin.com. If you're ready to hire a CFO or are interested in knowing more about the services and how we can work best with you to support your team, you can book a call on our contact page. If you are just interested to hear more about what we're up to and what our upcoming events may be and services, you can sign up for our newsletter, or you can follow us on social media at Wealth Worth Within. We love to put out free educational content. We give you everything away for you to do it on your own, just like Jenny does, because we're big believers that education comes first. And then, when the time comes to outsource, you will think of us because we've been giving you all the information you need to do this on your own. And maybe you're just ready to hand this off to a CFO.
Great. And for my services, if you go to simpleprofit.com, you can read about my membership. Inside the membership is kind of everything that I offer. So I offer a monthly webinar on a different topic every month. I do a 2-hour Q&A before every estimated tax deadline. members can ask unlimited questions. So when you go into my membership, I have a library of tutorials with handouts and spreadsheets and videos explaining various topics. I serve a wide audience. So I get a lot of questions and I've turned those into tutorials. And then there's a private community and a member only email. Members can actually ask unlimited questions of little things, and I can point you in the right direction or answer your question. Unless it involves research, then it can take me a little longer to answer. For example, if you're operating in multiple states and you have kind of like, what do I do here? That can take a little while. Also, I offer coaching. So it's usually a few month wait to get on my coaching calendar, but I do try to accommodate people if there's urgent issues. But sometimes people just want to talk through it. Like, should I
Mhm.
form it this way, or what do I do? And if you want to talk through it, I offer coaching services as well. But all of that is listed on simpleprofit.com. You can read about it. You can send me an email at Jennie, JENNIE at simpleprofit.com. If you're not sure if it's a right fit, I'm always happy, I'm sure you are, Carla, to make sure that before someone signs up that it's a right fit, that you know what you're
Mhm.
signing up for, you know what it's going to cost you, and you know what you should expect to get, because we're both very transparent and we want you to have a good process and a good fit.
Yeah, that is super important for us as well as professional, finance people. We want to make sure that we're only meeting the needs that you have and with also the right price point in mind. So we do also offer project-based support for one-time fee that is all inclusive. So there's no hidden cost. And what's popular around the end or beginning of the year is that annual budget planning. Some people might want to do it alongside a CFO that can give them some advice. And that is a very popular service that we do for really all size of companies that just need to go through thoroughly, create a plan of action for what's to come financially and set some goals. And if you need some support, we would love to be able to do that for you. Otherwise, we'll send you to Jennie first to get you prepped and then have her get you ready to work with us down the road, because I think the services are super complimentary, and I'm so glad that they have you in their corner first to educate them on all the things that they can come ready to work with us with that level of knowledge.
And I'm so glad to have found you as well, because when people outgrow my service, it's obvious. Like, I trying to help a large number of people, and that where I get similar questions over and over, and I create content that help the owner do the little things. But
Mhm.
I don't have the time to work really like long, like every month we're meeting for this many hours or whatever, as that kind of service. Like, I can't provide that and then do what I do. And so I'm glad to have found you and that you exist, because when you get to that level and you need your level of support, I mean, I think you're great. I think it's so awesome I'm happy to push people in your direction when they are ready for that level of service.
Yeah, thank you. We take that comments very kindly. We love what you're doing as well. And I think that it does come to a point where you need an integrated financial support inside your business. And that's what we do best. And we're boutique service for a reason, to make sure that all of our clients feel like we are the only, CFO on their staff taking care of all their needs. And that is how we like to operate with, certain number of clients, where we can give everyone the attention they deserve, and they feel fully supported. Even though we're just a fractional support, they feel like we're a full-time CFO for their company for the right size of support that they need.
That's great. That's great. All
Yeah.
right. Well, I'm glad we were able to do this and talk today.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Thanks. Bye.